Hey guys, today's episode, I picked up this 1984 Honda Atc200es for only $200 at the Iola Car Show swap meet, and it's not in the best condition, but it's definitely not in the worst. For $200, I think it was a steal. It's all here. It's just dirty. Sat for 8 years, I believe he said. 8 years in a shed. So again, it's all here. It just hasn't ran in a long time. It needs a lot of work, new battery, fresh carb clean, new tires, stuff like that. But today's episode, we're going to get this thing fired up and go rip it around, if it runs. First thing we're going to do to get this thing running, it's not going to help with the motor, but it'll help with the looks. We're going to pull this thing out of the shop, go pressure wash it, deep clean the entire thing, so that we can see what we're working on, not just a block of grease, because the engine's pretty rough. Again, it sat for 8 years straight. There's a ton of dust and just grime on it. So let's get this thing pushed over there, pressure wash it, and then we'll start digging into the motor. Alright, we got the 3-wheeler over here. Let's start pressure washing it. Got the old battery out. New one sitting right there. Let's get that thing thrown in and see if this thing will turn over. Got our hardware here. This thing is only $40. Can you believe that? Okay, positive side is on. Let's throw on the negative. Okay, negative terminal is on. Put our battery latch back on here. See if we got power. I just got back from school. Overnight, I disconnected the negative terminal so the battery doesn't go dead. We're going to see if we have power. We don't. Okay, headlight works. So we have power on the lights, but I'm not seeing power on the dash. Let's see if the electric start works. No. So that's an issue. We have no lights on the dash, and the electric start is not working. The only thing that does work is the headlight. Well, let me turn on the headlight and see if the brake light works. Okay, brake light also works. So we have lights, but that's it. So I was just telling my mom real quick that there's no power on the 3-wheeler. I'm gonna go grab a spark tester. And she said, let's go look at the electrical, see if we can jiggle something. And I found a main fuse, a 10 amp main fuse. And there's moisture inside of it and it is blown. So she's gonna go check the truck, see if we have another fuse. We'll pop that thing in, and it should be good to test if we have compression, spark, good oil pressure, fire this thing up. We're gonna go get a new fuse in just a minute, but before we go, I'm gonna see if we need a new air filter. This thing hasn't been opened in 8 years, so who knows what's gonna be in here. We're gonna find out. It's actually pretty clean. It's really clean, actually. Oh, the filter is... We're gonna take this off. I just put my finger on it, and look at that. It like dissolves. That'll suck into the motor. So we're gonna take this off and then go grab a new fuse. Look at this. I can just put my finger through it. So the reason I'm taking this off is this would have sucked up into our motor and possibly blown it up because... I mean, you get the point. We're going to take this off for now. We'll try to find a new one while we're at O'Reilly. We just got back from O'Reilly, and we believe we have the correct fuse. Battery is disconnected right now, the negative terminal. That's screwed in. We're going to screw our battery terminal back on, and then we should have main power. There's, I think, 2 different circuits on these 3-wheelers. One's the headlights, and lights. The other is like the dash, apparently. So, see if it'll work. So these lights, it's in neutral. So we're looking for this to kick on, and then everything else work, obviously. Still nothing.
Oh, dang it.
Let's see. Headlight still works.
You reconnected the battery, right?
Still no electric start. So I'm thinking if the 5A fuse was blown, the main fuse is a 10A. So we just gotta find where that is, and that's probably blown too. So a lot of issues happened. First the fuse was blown. We fixed the fuse. Obviously we put the new battery in, and we couldn't find neutral. Just like a dirt bike with no clutch, I kept clicking all the way down for neutral. And the tires were locked up. So then we thought it was a transmission issue. So then I started flicking through the gears, and for some reason I went all the way up, and now neutral light. So for some reason all the way up is neutral, and then all the way down is reverse. And I think one up from reverse is first. I don't know. I've never owned a 3-wheeler. I don't know. But neutral light, electric start, headlights obviously. So now we're good. I'm going to get a spark tester, compression tester, take apart the carburetor, and I don't see why it wouldn't fire right up. It's got everything it needs if it has spark and compression. I know it has compression because decompression switch is down and it has compression. And then even with the decompression switch on, it still struggles. So I think we're good on that. I'll still grab it just to be safe, but let me go grab tools. We'll see if we have spark, compression, clean the carb, fire it up. Now before we start turning this over to check for spark and compression, we're going to check the oil, because obviously if it's bad, we don't want to be doing that. That is probably some of the cleanest oil I've ever seen. So we're not even going to touch that. That looks brand new. So it must have been maintenance and then instantly parked, because it's looking pretty good for now. I couldn't find my compression or spark tester. I know it has compression, because I've been pulling over engines my whole life. Yeah, this is a bigger motor, but I can barely pull this over. And we'll be able to tell if it doesn't, if it easily pulled over, but seems good. And then we'll just take off the spark plug, hold it against the head, turn it over, and we'll see if we have spark that way. After we see if we have spark, we're going to dig into the carburetor, quick rebuild that, clean it up, because I know that ain't gonna run with that, and then should be able to fire it up. Okay, so this spark plug may look new, but I promise it's not, because yeah, that looks rough. Not rough, but it's definitely running rich. And there are some chunks. A little bit of metal fragments. But that also could have been from me pulling it out just now. But should be good. I'll clean it up a little bit before we try to run it. But first we'll see if we have spark. Alright, we're going to turn it over. Let's see if we have any spark. Good spark. Motor seems like it's turning over good. Let's throw that back in and start tearing out our carb. A lot of you guys might be saying there's oil on the ground, but there is a main seal behind this left crankcase cover, and that oil seal is blown, so it leaks into this. It's completely fine to run for now. I'm just going to replace it off camera when it shows up, because it's like a month from now. But it's totally fine right now. It's just leaking out of this cover. Just got the gas tank off. I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking, that thing is probably trash inside. But this fuel tank is cleaner than any fuel tank. I mean, it's literally spotless. So we got very, very lucky on that. But this is a little sign that's a little bit old. And then this is another sign that's been sitting for a good minute. That's just a block of dust. So that's why we're cleaning it. Also, this fuel line was already snapped, so we're gonna have to replace that too. But yeah, let's get to work tearing this thing out. dirty, but definitely fixable. I'm gonna spray it around, take out the emulsion tube and jets, clean those, assemble it, and we'll fire this thing back up. So it was kind of a struggle with the position that the carburetor is placed or mounted, but I got the carburetor placed back on. I got a clamp to the boot that goes to the air intake. It's all bolted up, tightened down, and looking good. Throttle cable's connected. That's nice and snappy. I think all we have to do now is put our gas tank on, route a new fuel line, drain that tank first before we turn it on, make sure this has no leaks, put our seat back on, connect our negative terminal, and see if this thing will fire up. So I'm gonna set a time lapse. I'm gonna go drain our tank, mount it, fuel line, all that, and then we'll see if it'll start. So everything is hooked up, gas tank is installed, battery's hooked up, fuel is hooked up. I think it's time to see if this 1984 Honda 3-wheeler will fire up after sitting for 8 years in a shed. We're gonna turn on our fuel down here. We're gonna wait a minute, check for leaks, so that there's no leaks, obviously. You can hear the bowl filling up, which is a good sign. I don't see any leaks. I think it's time to see if this thing will fire up. Here we go. We're gonna give it some choke. No way. 8 years after sitting. Fired right up. That is crazy. There's definitely an exhaust leak. I can barely feel it back here, or it's just plugged up. Oh my, I found the plug. Oh, that's disgusting. That's mouse nest. That just shows how long this has been sitting. A mouse nest just shot out. Oh, there we go. She sounds awesome. Oh, it's still plugged up good though. Look at that. Oh, that's disgusting. We split our exhaust in half. Our exhaust just exploded. That's not good. There's no ticking, no knocking. Very healthy motor, just that. That is insane. I'm gonna shut it off, give it a little break, and then we'll check for any leaks, and then we'll see if it'll go move. That is insane. There was a mouse nest in the exhaust, and it was built up so bad, it exploded the end of the exhaust. It blew a hole in it, and that is disgusting. I'm gonna put gloves on, but the exhaust is totaled. So, we're gonna have to order a new one of that. But 8 years after sitting in a barn, and this Honda fired right up, just needed a battery, carb clean, and a fuse. And this thing idles, runs great. I think I'm gonna clean the mouse nest up, and pull the mouse nest out of the exhaust, which is very disgusting, but I think I'm going to do that, see if this will hold air, and then we got to see if we got gears in this thing. So I got everything cleaned up, tried to air up this tire. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's leaking, so we're going to have to order a new one of those. This is a better look at what happened. Mouse nest shot out, it was a little bit more light, and it shot out of the exhaust, blew a hole in the exhaust, and emptied it everywhere. So the plan is we're gonna fire it up, move it over there if it moves, that's the plan, and then sweep all of this into a pile, throw that out, and then go from there. So I'm gonna set up the camera, put my helmet on, and we'll see if this thing will move after sitting for 8 years. Alright, let's see what we got. I don't know the shift pattern in this, so I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna go down and hope it moves, I guess. Here we go. 8 years sitting in a shed. Let's see if this Honda 3-wheeler will move. So as you guys just saw, the 3-wheeler fired up, it moves great. I just drove it out of the shop. All the gears work super nice. Only $200 for a running and driving Honda 3-wheeler. A lot of mouse nests came out of it. That just shows how long it was sitting. But stay tuned because I'm going to plan on restoring that entire 3-wheeler, repaint it all, new plastics, new stickers, new tires, wheels, repaint the engine, all that. So stay tuned for an episode on restoring it. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to go subscribe. I have some merchandise at vicecargarage.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.